Alrighty guys, this is the story of Scott McMillan, also known as Scotty. Warning, viewer discretion is advised. Scott was born on January 26, 2011. He was unalived on November 4, 2014 in his home in Pennsylvania. On Tuesday, November 4, 2014, authorities were called to the boy's residence for the report of an unconscious child. Responding EMTs found 3-year-old Scott McMillan suffering from bruises, lacerations, and puncture wounds all over his body. Gary Lee Fellenbaum, 23-year-old, and Jillian Tate, 31-year-old, his mother, and Amber Fellenbaum, 21-year-old, were all living in a mobile home along with 2 other children at the time that Scotty was unalived. Scotty and his older brother did belong to Jillian Tate, and there was another child who belonged to Amber Fellenbaum, which was Gary's estranged wife. Over a 3-day period, Scotty was systematically tortured and beaten to death. He was punched in the face and in the stomach. He was scourged with a homemade whip. He was lashed with a metal rod. He was tied to a chair and beaten. He was tied upside down by his feet and beaten. His head was smashed through a wall. At the end of that, he had bruises on top of bruises all over his body. When Scotty went to the ER room, the nurses wept when they saw his body. During one instant before Scotty passed, Gary hung Scott and his brother up by their feet one at a time and beat the boys while they were hanging upside down. Jillian stated that Gary and her were laughing during the incident. One morning, Scott was unable to eat the breakfast of toast and cinnamon that Gary made for him, and he kept spitting it out. Jillian and Gary tried to force the toast into his mouth, but he still wouldn't eat. Gary got angry at the child and began punching him in the stomach and in the face and took him to his room where the two continued punching him. At some point, Jillian stated that Gary picked up the child by his back and slammed him into the wall. On that Tuesday, when the child woke up, he was very red and had a swollen face. Again, he didn't eat breakfast, so Gary said he was being disrespectful. He punched him so hard that the child fell off his chair. Gary then put him back on his chair as he squirmed. He took out the electrical tape and tied Scotty's feet. He also strapped his arms to the post of the chair so that they were elevated. Gary began punching Scott again, causing him to vomit and become unresponsive. The pair then tried to wake up the boy. Failing to do so, they allegedly put him in a bath of ice water and changed his clothes. Gary is believed to have seen this as another sign of disrespect, so he put the boy on the blow-up mattress and then left the house to go collect pizza. When they returned, he was still unresponsive to Jillian. She stated that she ate some pizza and engaged in sexual activity with Gary. Alrighty guys, follow me for part 2 of the Scott McMillan story.